In the mint, the 10 Riyal coin was a precise work of metallurgy. In the streets, it became something else entirely, a unit of trust, a measure of value, a companion to daily life. By 1354, the Iranian Riyal had been in circulation for decades as the national currency, replacing the earlier toman in official accounting. The 10 Riyal coin was a middle denomination piece, valuable enough to matter but still common enough that it changed hands dozens of times in a single day. Purchasing power in 1975 Iran. To understand the role of the 10 Riyal coin, we must look at its real world value. In 1975, with oil revenues fueling economic growth, consumer prices were relatively stable. With a single 10 Riyal coin, you could buy a loaf of fresh naan sangak bread from a neighborhood bakery, pay for a short ride on a Tehran city bus, purchase a glass of steaming black tea at a tea house, pick up a small bundle of fresh herbs, basil, parsley, mint from the market, drop it into a child's hand as pocket money for sweets. In rural areas, its utility stretched even further. A few 10 Riyal coins could buy eggs, fruit, or spices at a village bazaar. It was a denomination that bridged city and countryside. Equally useful whether you were a shopkeeper in Shiraz or a shepherd near Yazd. Everywhere, every day. The 10 Riyal coin moved constantly. From merchants' tills to bus fare boxes. From street vendors to children's toy shops. It was light enough to carry in large numbers and durable enough to survive years of circulation without losing its markings. It was also the coin most often used for exact change. If you were buying something that cost 25 Riyals, you might hand over a 50 Riyal note and receive 2 10 Riyal coins and a 5 Riyal coin back. For this reason, most people had at least 1 10 Riyal in their pockets at any given time. The sound of money, the metallic clink of a 10 Riyal coin, was part of Iran's urban soundtrack. In the 1970s, you heard it in the handshakes of market deals, in the ringing trays of cashiers, in the small donations dropped into mosque boxes. For children, the coin was often their first lesson in money, a tangible piece of independence. Many still remember the excitement of exchanging their 10 Riyal for a sweet, an ice cream, or a paper cone of roasted chickpeas. A coin may be minted with the state's designs, but its life belongs to the people. In 1354, the 10 Riyal coin was more than just metal. It was bread, tea, travel, and small joys. Money is never just money. It is a statement, a symbol, a silent ambassador of the state's ideology. In 1354, every 10 Riyal coin carried with it the political heartbeat of Pahlavi Iran, the Shah's vision and symbolism. The 10 Riyal coin's imagery was no accident. The lion and sun emblem, crowned with the Pahlavi crown, was more than a national symbol. It was a carefully chosen message. The Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, saw himself as the modern heir to a 2,500-year-old Persian monarchy, a line he famously linked back to Cyrus the Great. By placing the royal crown above the lion and sun, the monarchy visually asserted its authority as the rightful guardian of Iran's identity. Every coin, passing from hand to hand, was a reminder of that continuity. Currency as propaganda. Throughout history, rulers have used currency to project power, from Roman emperors stamping their profiles on denarii to modern states, embedding slogans in banknotes. In 1970s Iran, the Pahlavi regime used coins and bills to reinforce the image of a modern, stable, and prosperous monarchy. The 10 Riyal coin's clean, orderly design reflected this vision. There was no clutter, no political slogans, just symbols meant to convey dignity, history, and strength. A nation in transition. The mid-1970s were a turning point. Iran's economy was booming, and the Shah's government was pushing a rapid modernization program, expanding infrastructure, reforming education, and increasing Iran's military presence in the region. But modernization brought cultural friction. The Shah's Western-oriented reforms clashed with traditional and religious values. Urban Iranians might see the 10 Riyal coin as a symbol of national pride. But for some rural and conservative communities, it also represented a government that seemed increasingly distant from their everyday concerns. The coin as a political artifact. Looking at the 10 Riyal coin now, it is impossible to separate its design from the era's political context. It was minted at the height of the Shah's power, just 4 years before the Islamic Revolution, would sweep the monarchy away. In hindsight, the coin feels like a snapshot of a moment a confident, almost unshakable state, unaware of the political earthquake ahead. The 1354 10 Riyal coin is more than metal. It is a political relic, a fragment of the Shah's grand vision and a reminder of how quickly the fortunes of a nation can change. In 1354, the 10 Riyal coin seemed timeless, a solid piece of the nation's economic and cultural fabric. But just 4 years later, the country it represented would no longer exist in the same form. 1979, a nation transformed. In early 1979, the Islamic Revolution swept through Iran, ending more than 2,500 years of monarchy. Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi left the country in exile and Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned to lead the newly declared Islamic Republic. The political shift was total, and so too was the change in national symbols. The lion and sun, emblem a fixture of Iranian identity for centuries, was removed from official use, replaced by the new emblem of the Islamic Republic, a stylized calligraphic representation of the word Allah. Coins in a new era. The 10 Riyal coins of 1354, bearing the Pahlavi crown and the lion and sun, suddenly became politically obsolete, while they remained legal tender for a short period after the revolution. Their association with the monarchy made them undesirable in the eyes of the new regime. The government began replacing coins and banknotes, issuing new designs that aligned with the values of the Islamic Republic. Many old coins were withdrawn from circulation, melted down and restruck with new imagery, a silent erasure. For most people, the disappearance of the 1354 10 Riyal coin was simply part of daily life in a changing country. You handed over your coins in the bazaar, and over time, the familiar lion and sun designs stopped coming back as change. For the state, however, it was part of a deliberate erasure, a way to cleanse everyday life of royal symbols and replace them with revolutionary ones. From pocket change to artifact. Within a few years, the 10 Riyal coin of 1354 went from being one of the most common coins in Iran to a rarity. Most were melted. Those that survived did so accidentally tucked away in a drawer, lost in a box of old belongings, or saved by collectors who understood their historical significance. Today, holding one of these coins is like holding a photograph from a vanished world, a reminder of a monarchy that no longer exists, of a time when the Shah's image and emblems were part of everyday life. The revolution didn't just change the government, it changed the symbols in people's hands, the designs in their pockets, the coins that told their nation's story. For the 10 Riyal coin of 1354, it was the end of circulation but the beginning of its life as history. Once, it was pocket change. Today, it is a relic. The 10 Riyal coin of 1354 has moved from the marketplace to the collector's cabinet. Its value now measured not in bread or tea, but in history. From common coin to rare find. At the moment of minting, the 10 Riyal coin of 1354 was anything but rare. Millions were produced for circulation, and it was one of the most frequently handled denominations of its day. But the events of 1979 changed its fate. The Islamic Republic's policy of withdrawing and melting coins bearing royal symbols meant that the vast majority of 1354 pieces disappeared. Those that survived did so only by chance, tucked away in forgotten drawers, stashed as keepsakes, or sold to foreign travelers before the revolution. Numismatic appeal. To coin collectors, the 1354 10 Riyal holds appeal for several reasons. 1. Historical significance. It represents the final years of the Pahlavi dynasty, making it a tangible artifact of pre-revolutionary Iran. 2. Political symbolism. The lion and sun emblem and Pahlavi crown are now politically obsolete, adding to the coin's uniqueness. 3. Survival rate, with most examples melted. Surviving pieces are far fewer than originally minted. Condition matters. In the numismatic world, condition is everything. Coins are graded from poor, P, to mint state, MS. A 1354 10 Riyal in worn condition, with faded details, might fetch only a modest price, but a well-preserved, uncirculated example with sharp lines, original luster, and no damage can command a significant premium. Common price ranges in today's collector market: heavily worn, $3 to $5 USD. Average circulated, $8 to $15 USD. Uncirculated mint state, $30 to $50 plus USD. Exceptional specimens, especially those certified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for even more. Global interest, collectors of Middle Eastern currency, students of political history, and Iranian. Expatriates often seek out the 135410 Riyal as a way to connect with a lost chapter of Iran's story. In auction listings, it sometimes appears alongside royal memorabilia, stamps, and banknotes from the same period. A coin with two values. For the collector, the 10 Riyal of 1354 is worth whatever the market will bear. But for those who lived through the 1970s in Iran, its value is often personal, a memory of childhood purchases, a reminder of the Shah's Iran, or a symbol of a time before revolution reshaped the nation. Its face value has long since faded into history, but in the world of collectors and in the hearts of those who remember it, the 135410 Riyal coin is priceless in a way no marketplace can measure. A coin's life is measured in exchanges, in the thousands of hands it passes through, but its legacy is measured in stories. The Iran 10 Riyal coin of 1354 tells a story far larger than its size, a symbol of a vanished era. For those who lived in Iran during the mid-1970s, the coin is a time capsule. It brings back memories of bustling bazaars, cheap city bus rides, and the taste of street-side tea. But it also recalls a nation in the midst of transformation, modernizing rapidly, under the Pahlavi monarchy, with ambitions as high as its oil fuel towers. When the revolution came, the coin became something more, a relic of a political system that vanished almost overnight. The lion and sun, the Pahlavi crown, all swept away, replaced by the emblems of the Islamic Republic. The coin as cultural memory. The 1354 10 Riyal is not just an artifact for historians and numismatists. For the Iranian diaspora, millions who left their homeland before, during, and after 1979, it is a small but powerful link to their roots. It is something tangible they can hold, a reminder of a language, a cityscape, a way of life. In this way, the coin serves as a kind of unofficial monument, not standing in stone or steel, but surviving in pockets, drawers, and collections around the world. Lessons in metal. Coins like this remind us that currency is never neutral. It carries the designs, the ideals, and sometimes the propaganda of the powers that mint it. The 10 Riyal of 1354 was as much a political statement as it was a medium of exchange. It declared Iran's strength, history, and monarchy, and in doing so, became a silent witness to the upheaval that followed. The enduring story. Today, the 1354 10 Riyal coin lives on in two worlds. In the numismatic world, where it is valued for its rarity and craftsmanship. In the cultural world, where it serves as a small, enduring reminder of a chapter in Iran's history that cannot be erased. Nations change. Symbols rise and fall. But sometimes, a small piece of metal survives it all, carrying with it the whispers of markets long closed, of rulers long gone, and of the people who once lived their lives around its quiet presence. The Iran 10 Riyal coin of 1354 is more than currency. It is history in the palm of your hand.